Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Dead Space. Now, it's been a while since I last played, so this is probably a pretty bad place to have paused if that was going to happen. Let me just see if I can remember the buttons real quickly. Okay, good, let's go. We're going to cross this area in zero gravity with oxygen and probably die a few times. Hopefully the game is going to quick save. I imagine it is. So my trick here is I gotta get here. And
warning. Multiple impacts detected across the starboard hull.
so I think the trick is you've got to be really behind these things when this happens. You can see there's damage happening here that you would just not really expect to happen. And there's monsters. The main problem here is I'm gonna straight up die from running out of oxygen if I'm not careful. And see, that area over there did not blow up, but the one I was blowing, the one I was behind, see, I've just got to run here. I'm not sure exactly how people without some extra oxygen would have been able to make it that far.
Manual override initiated.
That's it, Isaac. You're in the pit. The cannon's a mass driver, so it should punch through anything flying at us. Keep an eye on the hull's integrity. Too many of those things get by, and we're dead. I think I've almost got the system repaired. Just buy me a little more time.
So we're definitely not doing the game we intended here. Trying to blow up things. And you can see you have to blow things up a couple different times and we're down to 51% or 57% hull integrity. This really has nothing to do with anything we were doing before. It clearly is one of these examples in which
just one more minute and it should be fully operational.
We're down to 37%. And if the game makes me run all the way through that whole section again, that's
Hull integrity critical.
It stopped me from shooting so that it could tell me the whole integrity was critical.
I've almost got this thing fixed. Just a little bit longer.
17%. 13%. 10%. 5%. 1%. Remember, I'm on easy, by the way. Alright, well, at least this time the oxygen isn't too bad, and I guess it wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and just make a save file. We'll save one right here. Pick up this ruby superconductor if we can pick it up without triggering things, which is proving to be a lot of work. Some ripper blades. And then when we come back out through this area, we're gonna probably have the opportunity to pick up some things and fight some aliens.
The cannon's a mass driver, so it should punch through anything flying at us. Keep an eye on the hull's integrity. Too many of those things get by, and we're dead. I think I've almost got the system repaired. Just buy me a little more time.
This is maybe a issue of distance, where if you just kind of stay center and shoot, you'll hit things. No, it doesn't quite work that way because then you run out of bullets and this isn't. Is there an alternate fire on this? No. These don't feel like they're particularly placed in a way that, like, they just don't feel like they're a pattern that you can search for. Some of these seem like they will fall off the screen and not hit this giant spaceship, which doesn't make the most of sense. And see, it's locking me out, making me do some damage. 18%. They clearly wanted to get to this point, and it really feels like only a few of these matter. Like the last few of these. Let's probably not pick up these things. Picking up money is probably better than picking up ripper blades.
That's it, Isaac.
Right.
You're in the pit. The cannon's a mass driver, so it should punch through anything flying at us. Keep an eye on the hull's integrity. Too many of those things get by, and we're dead. I think I've almost got the system repaired. Just buy me a little more time.
Seems like maybe I just need to alternate the firing pattern. That would probably work, since it seems like only one of these it almost seems like if you just shot like right here, but some of these are just too much, just too much. Like, come on. The controls are a little stiff here.
Almost got this thing fixed. Just a little bit longer.
Hull integrity critical.
I think we may have it. So, maybe. Boy, does this just feel stiff. The sensitivity on the controller is off. Let's see what. And none of this has anything. I think I just got more money that time.
That's it, Isaac. You're in the pit.
Like, this just feels really stiff moving back and forth.
Keep an eye on the hall's integrity.
Maybe I need
Too many of
to
those things get by, and we're dead. I think I've almost got the system repaired. Just buy me a little more time.
play a little bit more controlled. Only pull the left triggers. Maybe stay more focused on the left here. Some of these just feel like they're moving faster than they should be.
Just one more minute, and you should be fully operational.
Like, this triggers immediately at 50%. And it's not like a quick time event where they're saying jump out of the seat when the whole thing's about to explode.
Almost got this thing fixed. Just a little bit longer.
26% more.
Warning. Hull integrity critical.
Come on, let me help.
Tracking system enabled.
Ah.
Nice shooting, Isaac. Auto-targeting is now online and clearing a path to safe orbit. As soon as we're clear, I'll engage the autopilot again. Head to the tram station, and I'll meet you there when I'm done.
That was ridiculously difficult to stop right at 2% because clearly that's what the game wanted. Like, obviously. Let's just save so we never end up doing that. And now, theoretically, I can just kind of run out here and just deal with any of the aliens that decide to show up. For whatever they really are worth, I don't know, because like see, there might be some items somewhere hidden around here, but as best as I can see, that's not the case. It was just those couple of monsters, and then that was it. And even if I had a full thing of oxygen, I don't think it would give me that much extra time. So, the fact that this is a pointless little side quest we did, and then we've also fought those really big creatures, it's making me wonder if the giant tentacle monster or whatever that was isn't really a boss we're gonna see anytime soon, and instead it is a boss that's closer to the middle of the game.
Wait! Isaac Hammond. You're not gonna believe this. Oxygen levels are falling. Something's poisoning hydroponics air production, and whatever it is, it's filling the deck up with that organic stuff. We're not going to have any air to breathe soon. But if I understand these lab reports correctly, I think I can make a poison to destroy it. Head to medical. It should have everything you need.
Will this never end? Isaac, get to medical and mix together whatever Kendra's come up with. I'm heading to hydroponics. If I can slow it down, that might keep us breathing long enough to fight it.
So we kind of came from medical, like that was 2 levels ago. We were in the engine room before, and we're on the bridge effectively now, and now we're going back to medical. It really goes to show that there's not much game here as far as actual level design. The whole idea, I suppose, is it's supposed to be this closed-in air, claustrophobic scenario, but you know, it also is just that this was a small game made by a small group of people, and I could have sworn have I not been in this room? The comm array. Either I've been there and done that, I don't even remember now. Let's see, we hear some creepiness happening. Which, this is a head. Have to be careful about these guys because they're they kind of suck. The limbs have grown the ability to travel. So these heads, they have a pretty brutal death scenario that we may not actually ever see too, but they'll rip off your own head and then control your body and turn you into a Necromorph. Level 2 I believe is where we need to go. How are we on inventory as we look here? We've got things to sell and no nodes, but shouldn't be too much of a problem. Go ahead and take this. So you can see we're still getting battered by asteroids for what I thought was not something that was supposed to happen. Let's just make sure there's nothing there before we use this. I don't know why I specifically wanted to check, but I guess it's just because there hasn't been anything that's happened lately. So we have a new schematic for a new gun. Let's see. Move, sell, plasma energy, contact beam energy, flame fuel, pulse rounds, move. Ripper blades, move, sell, Ruby semiconductor is worth 10,000, gold semiconductor is worth this much. We can move this over here, and we can move this over here. And this is worth 4,000 on the contact energy. And let's come over here. Let's move this into this. Sell one of these. Sell one of these. Pulse rounds. Let's see. Can we get another 10,000? Or how much room can you have in your safe is another good question. I guess it's pretty unlimited though. So I'm gonna just hold on to weapons, because if I sold this and this, it would only be another 4,000. We need to, let's see, which gun do we want to get rid of now? I guess we move the contact beam in here, and like pulse rifle apparently can be made, and so can force gun. So did I sell the pulse rifle? Oh, I did. Well, that sucks. Well, I don't know what to do about that. Like, I accidentally sold the pulse rifle, and it doesn't seem like there's a buyback where I can buy that back for a decent amount of money. It'll be interesting to see if we still get pulse rounds. Now, I suppose this is an interesting experiment, and we can work through that. Let's run this way, and hopefully we can increase our armor. We would still need a level 4 schematic. That's just a fire extinguisher, isn't it? For our weapon. So some issues there. Like, we can look at what the force gun would be. The force gun seems at the very least to start you off with more options. Yeah, but let's see, rig. Yes, I can go one here and one here, and then 2 more gets us more air, 2 more after that gets us more HP, and then 3 more gets us the maximum amount of HP. You can see it readjusts our number of bars on our suit. I'd still prefer more armor, but in all honesty, this game is not so much about dying because you took an extra 5 or 10% damage. It's definitely a lot more of dying because you just let one Necromorph kill you. These things are slightly different from zombies in that fact that there's no scenario where you're gonna get so overrun by small, easy to kill enemies. Instead, you're just gonna let one of them do more damage than you need. Alright, and we didn't check to see if there was a Necromorph in the trolley, but I bet it never happens. The room is just too small. Save our progress. And we'll just go ahead and oversave that one. And we're going back to medical. Which, remember, Rachel is in medical, so it seems, or she worked in medical at least. It seems like that would make more sense for a reason to go back.
Isaac, I can smell the contaminated air from here. It's spreading faster than I expected. I'm trying to isolate it, but it's not going to buy us much time. We have to get that thing off this ship. The chemicals you need are in the chemistry lab. I'll hack the door for you when you get there.
It is also very possible what's going on here. Didn't we break these already? Yeah. What's going to happen is we're going to enter an area and to find stronger versions of the Necromorphs. As if this is... they're only at a certain power level so far. Guess I could have spent some extra money for some health packs. I don't really want to do that though. So we've already been in this area. It should be pretty much a piece of cake, theoretically. But all the bodies are very potentially... Let's see.
You can't stand in the way of God's plan, the natural order. Are you blind left to rest?
Ah, so...
Looks like someone has reprogrammed the door locks on this deck. And recently, too. I guess we're not alone here after all. Someone doesn't want you in this part of the ship.
So this locker changed, and by it changing, that tells me that was their plan all along. Any place we've seen lockers that have only let us do half of them pretty much means we're gonna go through all the areas twice. And I think this is almost a forced New Game Plus idea. They're making you play the game twice, even in the one story. So it sounds like the doctor that we saw stab the... really dark in here. Let's see. Let's see, are you gonna fight me or... Small health. It's really, really dark, even for me. So it must be incredibly, incredibly dark for you, the viewer, since there was that disconnect that I think is still happening. So now this platform is moving backwards and forwards, seemingly mostly on its own. The ragdolling is really bad. I suppose you could have come back at this point and used the power node. It would have gotten you one extra thing, and I assume you would have been able to open the other things. This is an explosive barrel. So this thing is shooting out limbs, and you have to, I think, shoot off all of these limbs. the idea of rooms. I hope I'm getting the idea right here. This is taking a lot. Is there anybody else here? That is a mess. And we can see there's a power node in there, but the door is locked. Which that's not so good. You can also see this is here. We don't have to do the telekinesis. I'm gonna have to be careful about not wasting bullets. Let's see. You dead? And I'm out. There must be something somewhere where I can get more stasis. Clearly. Otherwise the game is just game over for me. Was there something in here that wouldn't actually make the most sense? Does using the bench refill your stasis? Do I seriously have to leave this room? Am I supposed to just run on this and die? Okay, here's a stasis I had forgotten about in the room before. So this is almost an opportunity to try to do a better job at, I suppose, with this guy. And see, this makes you switch between the two. You want a horizontal shot when you're shooting these pieces, but you want a vertical shot because the limbs are there. Did I miss anything? Yes, I missed one locker. And that's about it. You have to just aim slightly higher. Let's see. This is good. This is fine. And then you just have to run through
You're
here.
close to the chemistry station. Once you get the chemicals, you're also going to need a DNA sample of the alien tissue. I'll search the records for one.
So. We're going, I think, in a different direction. So we saw some doors, particularly early on, were locked to us. So yeah, this is slightly different. It definitely has the feeling of a game that was designed to be more open world and reuse levels.
Personal log, Dr. Charles Mercer. I now have a live subject for my study. I'm eager to validate my tissue regeneration theory. Initial restraint was problematic, but now the patient's resting comfortably. He trusts me, Dr. Clarke. He puts his life in my hands. He knows his part in all of this. Understands what I'm doing. The forehead has been swabbed clean and marked. What are you doing with that? And I'm now attempting to create a passage to insert the sample into...
So the doctor sounds totally crazy. And that must have happened before he stabbed the captain, so... Like... See, it does kind of just feel like we're in different areas, though. And if there ever was an homage, Force Energy schematic, to a Resident Evil boss fight, this would be it. So almost certainly we're going to go to this batch mixer. But first things first, let's just pick up everything. And maybe I will remember I imagine, like, you can't smash these. So these guys are gonna come quick and strong. I imagine as soon as I activate this. And let's see, how are we doing elsewise? We have 2 health and a small med kit. We have force energy, we have a force energy schematic, we have some fire energy. We haven't picked up anything as far as our other weapon, and in an odd turn of events, we are actually not holding a gun? Why is that the case? It's very strange. Let's see. How are we on Chapter 5? There's not even that much, so Chapter 5 is probably pretty short, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chapter 6 is that boss fight that we've been assuming was going to happen. We missed something in Chapter 4. One thing. I don't know how we miss anything in this game, since how small it is. We missed one thing in Chapter 2. Chapter 3. We missed one thing in Chapter 2. And we've missed one thing. So we've very effectively missed one thing in each level, each chapter. Unless there's something that's filling in the ones we're missing previously, which I don't believe is the case. And Chapter 6 would be about the halfway point, and then we'd be done with the game. Well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.